Hey everyone, it's Len from 1A Auto. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do rear shocks on a 2010 Nissan Altima. It's going to be a very simple job, and I'm going to be the guy who shows you how to do it. And as always, if you need this or any other part, you can always come down to 1aauto.com and we'll be sure to take care of you. Now we have our vehicle partially supported off the ground. We want to make sure the wheel's still touching. We're just going to break all 5 of these lug nuts free. And we don't need to loosen them up very much, we just want to break them free, so when we get it up off the ground, we don't have to worry about spinning the wheel trying to break them free. There's one, and we're going to be using our 21mm socket. We're on our last 2. Get that one off. All right. What I like to do is I like to leave one on there when I'm removing the last one. So I'll just put that second to last one back on, a couple threads. Then we'll go ahead and remove this last one. The reason for that is so the wheel can't come loose, fall and hurt anybody. Safety is key here at 1A Auto. Okay, we'll get the last one. Now we'll just go ahead and remove this second to last one that we started on, holding the wheel. Take off that hubcap. Here we go. Being careful not to drop it too hard. Now what we're going to do, we're going to use an 18mm socket. Put it on this side of the bolt. The other side's a welded nut onto the back side of the shock. So I'm just going to give this a little tug. There we go. Now we're going to pull this out. Being careful of any pinch points. There's that bolt. As you can tell, it doesn't have anything special to it. We could clean up these threads if we wanted to. Put that aside where we can find it. Now we can move this around quite a bit. Now we're going to go ahead and remove our 2 13mm nuts. There's one right here and one on the other side. You can use a long extension if you want, or whatever you use to get up in there. I sprayed them all down so everything breaks free nice and easy. Get that one nice and loose, and I'm going to move on to the other side. This one I can remove completely. All right, I got the first one all the way out. I'm just going to start it on a couple threads. There we go. Now I'm going to continue to take out the second one. There we go. Grab this with my fingers. It's almost ready to come off. There we go. Carefully remove this. And now we're clear to install a quality 1A Auto part. Next, what we're going to do, we're going to take off this rubber boot right here. Should pop off pretty easy. And then we're going to take off this nut. We'll notice that there's no spring tension. This isn't a strut, this is just a shock. If it had a spring coming from here to here, you would not touch this nut. Since there's no spring tension, we can remove this so we can remove our upper shock mount. We'll use our 16mm socket. You're going to turn this nut to the left, but what you'll notice is the whole thing spins. So here's a little secret. You're going to want to try to push this boot up. So you can see under there, that's the shaft of the old shock. We can take some locking pliers. We're going to grip it onto that shaft. Nice and tight, as tight as we can get it. There we are. And then we can take our 16mm socket. We're going to turn this until it breaks free. Once that breaks free, we're going to take it completely off and we'll put this together on the new shock. So if doing it with the locking pliers didn't want to work for you, maybe the locking pliers were slipping on the shaft under there, it's okay. There's other options. Something we can try to do is use a 16mm wrench. We can put it right on this nut, use some sort of locking pliers on this. If it comes down to it, we can try to heat up this nut a little bit, but we'll use that as a last resort. So first I'm going to put my wrench on. I'm going to use my locking pliers. Try to grip it on as much as I can while they still lock. We're going to see if we can break this free. Nice. All right. So we can continue doing it this way if we want, or if we want, we can use something like a ratchet wrench. But essentially, we want to get this apart, and then we can move on to the next step. All right. Now this is coming apart. We can set stuff up so we remember which way it came off. If that helps you, that's completely up to you. We'll have a bushing on the top and a bushing on the bottom. So this is essentially how it's going to go. Pretty easy to figure out. It's going to go this way when it goes back together. Now we can remove this from our old shock. and we can mount all this onto our new shock. Okay, so here we have an old shock. You can tell it's very rusted. It's getting very weak. You can hear it going on in there. We want to replace it with something new and quality. What I would do is I would go down to 1A Auto, 1aauto.com really, and I would order this part. To me, this is a high quality part. You can tell it seems like it's very heavy duty, quality made, and of course it comes with the 1A Auto warranty. So if you need this or any other part, you can always come down to 1aauto.com and we'll be sure to take care of you. Out with the old, in with the new quality 1A Auto part. Something that I like to mention when you're going to be replacing rear shocks on this is you want to compress these several times. And you want to do that while it's standing up and down like this. This is much easier to do on the ground. It's much safer to do on the ground. But firstly, I'm going to put on some safety glasses because as always, safety is the #1 concern at 1A Auto. You can do something like this, very carefully, push it down. And then we're going to try to get this off like that. We're going to let it continue to go all the way up as far as it wants to go. Just give it a minute. And we can do this 3, 4, 5, 10, 20, however many times you want, but at least 3 to 5 times. We'll go down. This is just getting it charged up. You'll notice it's going to go up faster now. We'll go again. It's getting harder to push. And it's also going to come up faster, I'm sure. If this was on the ground, I would do it a couple more times, but for safety's sake, I'm not. This looks good as it is. So we'll move on to the next step, which will be removing this right here. This is just trash. I'll show you what it's for. Protect your threads right here, and also keep this on for shipping. Trash. Now we move over to where our bushings are. Everything came new, so that's great. We remember the way it came, at least I do. It's gonna go like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to match up the bushings so we can see which goes where. This is a little bit bigger, it's better quality. You can tell that one's a little smaller. Don't worry about that. It's gonna be that way, you don't have to worry. This is just for better vibration dampening. So what you'd wanna do is you wanna use a little bit of brake lube or silicone paste. We're gonna go ahead and put on a little bit of lubricant. You can use silicone paste or brake lube, whatever you want to use. Doesn't have to be anything too crazy. Just so we can slide this into the hole. That feels pretty good. It'll compress in further if it needs to. We're going to essentially do the same thing with this, but first what we're going to do is we're going to grab our upper mounting plate. We're going to put it through like that. You can see where this bevel lines up with that hole right through the backside. Looks pretty great. A little bit of brake lube on this side, or silicone paste. We're going to put that with the same little tip facing towards there. Pretty simple. Press it like that. That looks pretty great. This is ready to be installed onto the shock. Now we've got our quality 1A Auto part. We're going to go ahead and slide the boot over. Just got to get it into there's a little bushing in there. Like that. Put on this plate. Doesn't go this way. Goes this way. Covers the end of the boot. Now we can go ahead and put this on. If you happen to turn the plate over and you were inspecting it, making sure it was in good condition, and you forget which way it goes, it's easy to tell because you can remember where the nuts were. The nuts were facing down, weren't they? And this was up against the body. You can also tell because there's a little bit of rubber here for vibration dampening. So in case you forgot, just a heads up. Don't worry, lens here. Now we're going to put on our washer, right like that. And then we have our locking nut. You can see it has the neoprene locking on there. That doesn't go on face first, that goes on at the end. So it'll come in from the other side. And then you would just tighten this up. All right, so we're going to go back to using our locking pliers. And I'm going to use a ratcheting wrench. For this application, I'm going to be using a 17mm, and it's a ratchet wrench. You don't have to worry about lining this up. You can have it like this, like this. It doesn't really matter because it's going to be able to spin once we get it together. So don't worry so much about that. What we do need to worry about is tightening this up. And you're going to feel it bottom out. You don't need to go much further than that, just so you know. Just get that on there to hold it. So we're just going to tighten this up. The physical torque is supposed to be 22 foot-pounds, which would be impossible to do with your locking pliers on the end here because you need to put a socket in your torque wrench. So for this application, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tighten it up. And tight's tight. Too tight's probably broken, but we don't need to go that tight. You're just going to feel it bottom out. Sorry. That feels pretty good. And it does have the neoprene lock in there, so we shouldn't have to worry about it loosening up. It's going to do its job. That's what it's there for. All right, now we're just going to put the rubber cap back on. Keeps the moisture out of there. Then we're going to take our two 13mm head nuts. We're going to come up here, line up the holes with the studs that come down. Take one nut, start it on there. Think about getting the other one on there. Get them both started. A few good threads. It's not going anywhere. Now we can go ahead and tighten that up with our ratchet, and then I'll get you the torque spec and we'll make sure we torque that down. We're just gonna bottom these out. If you have access to an air gun, might be helpful. Here we go. Nice and snug. And we'll grab our torque wrench, and we'll torque those up. We'll get our torque wrench set to 20. There's one. Bring it around, put it on the second nut. There we go. Just gonna hit it one more time. One. Do this one again. Those are torqued down. Now we can move on to the last bolt. Alrighty, so now we're gonna line up this hole with this hole. Depends on if you're gonna be jacking up or you're gonna be lowering your jack, whatever your circumstance is. Essentially, line this hole up with this one. For my circumstances, I'm gonna bring this up. There we go. We're gonna take our long bolt. If you wanna use a little thread locker, it's up to you. For this video, I'm not gonna worry about it. Just gonna put it through. Give it a couple threads by hand. Then I'll go ahead and tighten it down and we'll get the torque spec and we'll torque it right up. Just gonna get this snugged up. We'll hit it with the torque wrench for 66 foot-pounds. We're using an 18mm socket. Feels pretty good. Let's hit it one more time. There it is. All right, that completes our installation of the rear shock on this. We double checked all of our bolts. We made sure everything's nice and snug. Nothing's going anywhere. ABS wire nice and secured. This is all set. So we're at the point we're gonna take off our securing lug nut here. This was basically just to hold the rotor on so it didn't wobble around. We remember that. If it feels stiff, you can go ahead and use your 21mm socket. I'm gonna hold that in my hand, grab my tire. It's easiest to roll it right up your knee, so that way there you can use your abs to lift it instead of your back. So I'm gonna go like that, use my leg. Put it right up on here, just like that. I'll hold it still. I can grab my hubcap, or wheel cover, whatever you want to call it. 21. Get it on here. We're gonna go ahead and start all 5 of these. We'll snug them up, and then we'll go ahead and torque it right down. Just gonna go ahead and snug these down. Our next step is to get this wheel so it's just barely touching the ground so it won't spin, and then we're gonna torque these lug nuts to manufacturer's specifications. Now it's time to torque this puppy down. We're gonna go to 83, that's the manufacturer's specification. We're gonna use our torque wrench with a 21mm socket. We're gonna make a star pattern. It's 5 lugs, so a star. Here we go. Now maybe you got distracted, somebody came over and talked to you, you don't remember if you got them all, just go around again. I mean, it's not like you gotta pay for it. Let's hit them again.
Thanks for watching. Visit 1AAuto.com for quality auto parts shipped to your door, the place for DIY auto repair. And if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button.